Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first council meeting of 2026. And no better way to be celebrating this meeting than by having a room full of sparks and guides and pathfinders and rangers here in the and embers. Sorry, I missed the embers. My apology, embers. To have It used to be like one or two groups, and now anyway, it's awesome. It's nothing better than to have all of you here, along with your family members and fans and supporters and siblings in some cases here to join with us. As we begin this evening's meeting, I'd like to acknowledge that we are gathering on the traditional territory of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee peoples. We recognize our responsibility to serve as stewards for the land and honor the original caretakers who came before us. Our community is enriched by the enduring knowledge and deep-rooted traditions of the diverse First Nations, Métis, and Inuit in Kitchener today. So as I said, we're beginning today's meeting with the singing of our national anthem. And we are very fortunate to have with us the first Kitchener Sparks, the 11th Kitchener Sparks, the 24th Kitchener Embers, the 24th Kitchener Guides, the 28th Kitchener Guides, the 28th Kitchener Pathfinders, the 22nd Kitchener Rangers, and the 28th Kitchener Rangers here to join all of us in 20. I did say them, yes. Sorry, it's okay. I just want to welcome all of them as they lead us in the singing of our national anthem. So I'd like to invite everyone, as they're able, to stand for the singing of O Canada.
You guys all see me now? So you need to look at my eyes. I'm missing 4 sets of eyes. Okay, everybody wave to yourself. Get it over with. Okay, eyes on me now. 3, 2, 1. Ready?
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true praise, true love, in all of us command. With glowing hearts we seek the rest, but true, North, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
You are all absolutely awesome. Take a quick picture with all of you. Okay, let's do it now. Hello, everybody. How's it going?
Singing.
You guys did so good.
Okay, thanks. Okay, everyone look at Diana first.
Look at Diana in the green dress. Smile. Say cookies. All right, and let's look at M and everybody say cookies.
Awesome.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Round of applause for all of you. now. So just before everyone goes, I just want to say thank you to all of you for coming and singing O Canada. We haven't had such a full chamber in a long time and so many amazing voices. But I also want to thank all of your leaders and your family members who support you as you're part of the program. So let's give all of them a big round of applause. Now, you can stick around if you want, but I think you probably don't want to sit through a boring meeting. So we'll pause for a couple minutes so you can all go to your next stop. Thanks, everybody. A few less people in the room right now, but they brought lots of amazing energy, which was wonderful to have them. So before we begin the meeting, I'd like to just begin as we normally do, recognizing that individuals who were interested in participating in this evening's meeting were eligible to register online using the delegation registration form at www.kitchener.ca/delegation or via email at delegation@kitchener.ca. Any written comments received prior to the commencement of this evening's meeting have been circulated to members of council and will form part of the public record. The meeting live stream and archive videos are available at www.kitchener.ca/watchnow. Before we begin this evening's meeting, I'd also like to take a moment to recognize the launch of Waterloo Region's We All Belong Here campaign, a powerful region-wide anti-hate campaign designed to strengthen belonging and confront hate in all its forms. Belonging is one of the most basic human needs. It is the foundation of a healthy, connected, and thriving city. Yet we know that many people in our community continue to experience discrimination, exclusion, and identity-based harm. Kitchener is home to many new Canadians, and ensuring that everyone feels welcome and valued is vital to the strength and future of our city. As part of the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan, and together with the Region of Waterloo and community partners, the Combating Hate Action Table has developed the We All Belong Here anti-hate campaign. This region-wide initiative, represented by the artwork of Indigenous designer Katie Wilhelm, aims to reduce hate and shape a city where everyone feels welcomed, respected, and celebrated for who they are. This initiative reflects the values at the heart of the City of Kitchener's strategic plan, which prioritizes building a caring and inclusive community. Over the past 2 years, more than 30 partners, including municipalities, school boards, and local organizations, have come together to address hate and co-create meaningful solutions. Their dedication shows what is possible when a community chooses unity over division. For me, the importance of belonging is deeply personal. Arriving in Canada as a young immigrant, I experienced firsthand what it means to build a life in a new place together with my parents, navigating unfamiliar systems, embracing new cultures, and finding connection in a community that welcomed us. That sense of inclusion shaped my journey and my commitment to ensuring Kitchener remains a city where everyone feels they have a place to call home. But creating a city where we all feel we belong isn't just the responsibility of organizations. It is something we all share. As residents and as leaders in Kitchener, we each have the power to shape the culture of our city. We can help by taking the pledge to stand against hate, speak up and report it when you see it or experience hate, and support those impacted and encourage others to do the same. Together, we can build a city where everyone feels safe to be their authentic selves and where every person is valued and celebrated for who they are. This shared commitment reflects Council's ongoing vision of creating an inclusive city, one where belonging is not just an aspiration, but a lived experience for all. And let us continue to lead with courage, with compassion, with kindness, and with commitment, because in Kitchener, we all belong here. I'd now like to take a vote on the minutes for approval, and it's been moved by Councillor Deneau that the minutes of the regular meeting held December 15th and the special meetings held December 15th and January 5th, 2026 is mailed to the Mayor and Councillors be accepted. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? There being none, I'll note the communications referred to file with a number of illumination requests. And we'll now move into presentations. And it's my pleasure to welcome the Executive Director of the Kitchener-Waterloo Art Gallery, Shirley Medill. Shirley, it's wonderful to have you in the council chamber this evening. Welcome.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. So Mayor Verbanovic and City Council, I actually want to start with a note of gratitude for all of your support over the past several years. The reason I'm here is to give you a really brief update on 2026, and the reason for that is that we are celebrating our 70th anniversary, and to reach 70 years would not have been possible without the City of Kitchener's support. So I'm just going to briefly touch upon a history. Looking at the first slide, the history of CAG, I want you to hearken back to a really cold winter's day, very much like tonight, where a group of visionaries in the City of Kitchener got together from the business and education, as well as the art communities, with the idea that they were going to form a gallery, and also this gallery would exhibit and collect work of its time. So on September the 23rd, 1956, we opened in a bicycle shed behind Kitchener Collegiate. And we opened with an exhibition of Tom Thomson paintings that were on loan from the National Gallery of Canada. In 1960, we moved to this church on Benton Street, and in 1980 to Centre in the Square, which was a purpose-built building. At that time, the Kitchener-Waterloo Art Gallery probably was amassing a collection close to about 2,000 pieces. But the whole objective around the gallery was definitely to collect work of Canadian artists with specific focus on local. So we opened 2026 on January the 24th with Expressions 51. Now, one of the things that the founders were really adamant about was art education for youth. And Expressions now is in its 51st year out of those 70 years, and the topic is Forging a New Path. So when we celebrated our 60th, we looked to the past primarily and celebrated our founders. When we're going into the 70th in the future, we're actually going to be celebrating moving forward with courage and with bravery. Then the next exhibition was going to open in March, and it's Sharing the Passion. And this is 70 years of building the collection, and we're going to be showcasing 71 works from the permanent collection. We now take care of over 4,500 works of art held in public trust that date as far back as the 1920s. It includes a group of 7 artists, and there'll be some names you'll recognize. We have a Pablo Picasso in our collection, we have a Marc Chagall, we have a Salvador Dali as well, and you wouldn't believe this, there is a Renoir in the collection, so it is going into an international scale. We also have Indigenous works by Norval Morrisseau or Daphne Ojake, and we continue to collect works by artists who are working today, not only from the region of Waterloo, but also from other parts of Canada and the rest of the world. For example, we actually have the largest collection of work by Edward Bertinsky, who's a renowned photographer in environmental issues, next to the National Gallery of Canada, and we also hold the largest collection of naive art paintings that were given to us by Joey and Toby Tannenbaum in Toronto. This would be the largest collection in all of North America of that component. So as we really celebrate our history and we look forward to the future, we also look at our donors who have made this collection also possible. Now, there are a number of other shows, and I can't really go into them in 5 minutes over the summer, but we will be celebrating the Garden of Resilience, and this was a collaboration with the City of Kitchener, where this garden connects with Indigenous youth in the community and also with the food bank. We'll also be hosting a show by Rosalie Favel, who's a Métis artist, very well known, at the end of this summer. And then where we end is with this major exhibition by Bastian Ader. Now, this name may not be familiar to you as Pablo Picasso or Auguste Renoir or so forth, but this is one of the most significant artists of the 20th century. And we're working in collaboration with the Kunsthalle in Hamburg in Germany to bring this show in. So it's a collaboration. It's a rare solo exhibition, so it's highly likely that it will be the only show, or will be the only center and only gallery in the whole world actually to actually show this exhibition. So we do anticipate that even with our small marketing budget, that we'll probably be reaching out to many people who are quite familiar with this artist and coming to the city of Kitchener to see it. So in closing, I just sincerely hope that you'll visit these exhibitions and the programs that are associated with it. I know that you have busy schedules and that sometimes the gallery may not be on your list to visit often, but if you're going to see one of these exhibitions, I really stress to see Sharing the Passion, 70 Years of Collecting. These works belong to the public. We take care of them, we hold them in public trust for the public. And with all of the people that you serve in your respective wards, really tell them about this collection, because I believe that not too many people in the city or in the region of Waterloo are aware of what these holdings are. And we've put together 70 really important pieces that we've drawn that kind of show you the story, because it becomes the identity and the soul of a community is the permanent collection. So talk about it to your residents, but do come and visit. And if you do come to see the exhibition, let me know, because I would be so happy to take you on a tour. And if you don't have time for the tour, at least drop by to say hello. Now, if you have any questions, I'd be so pleased to answer them, but if not, that's okay. I just certainly hope to see you in the future.
Well, thank you very much, Shirley. And we do have a few people in the queue to ask some questions or make some comments. But I really just want to begin by thanking you for your leadership at the Art Gallery over many years. You're the current holder of a role of several successive leaders that have helped build up the Art Gallery to what it is today, and it's obviously a big responsibility, but also one that you've led with passion and commitment on behalf of the community. And so I do want to thank you on that front. I want to just reference Edward Bertinsky for a minute, because you touched on him as in terms of the collection that you have. And just this past September, had the privilege of seeing Edward's murals exhibit. He has these super huge murals in New York City during UN General Assembly Week. And Bob Ray, who was the president of the Economic and Social Advisory Council at the UN for the last year, the exhibit was sort of tied to the end of his year as president of that chamber. And it was the first time that Edward had been there with his own dedicated exhibit in New York in over 20 years. And these giant murals were like mind-blowing. So if you ever have an opportunity to see them somewhere, I encourage people to do that. And I would be remiss if I did not give you an opportunity to plug one of my favorite exhibits every year, and that's the Expressions exhibit with our school participants from our public, separate French and private schools in the region. And so Expressions 51 is opening January 24th, I believe. Am I correct?
It opens on January the 24th, and I should add that many students that participated years ago have become artists or art educators or even donors to the galleries. So very important show that we hope to continue, and probably one of the only ones that any art museum in Canada is doing.
Well, kudos to you and your team, because it is a great opportunity to celebrate our young people and their amazing talent. I mean, I get, for someone who's like really good at maybe drawing stick people, I get blown away every year by what they come up with each and every year. So with that, Councillor Michaud, you're next in the queue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Shirley, for your presentation. We're very fortunate to have a gallery like the Art Gallery in Kitchener. And every time I go there to events, I always walk around and say, I'm going to come back and I need to walk through this gallery. So with your invitation, I'm going to take you up on that offer, and I will call you very soon and let you know when I want to come in, and I'd love a tour from you. So thanks so much, and nice to see you again.
I'd be pleased to. Thank you.
Hey, Councillor Chapman.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Shirley. I just want to put a plug in for the memberships, because with the membership, you get the preview of in the opening of new exhibits, and you get a preview, and it's just a great way to support the gallery and to be a part of it, really. So I notice on page 18 of the brochure that it gives details on how to become a member. Also, I want to just make reference to the notice of the Garden of Resilience. I think this is, a great idea, and sort of thinking outside of the typical gallery idea that we're so familiar with, right? The art gallery idea. So it's nice to see that the Garden of Resilience is back again this year.
Could you give him that last part? I didn't.
Councillor Chapman, go ahead.
I just wanted to make reference to and acknowledge the Garden of Resilience.
Yes.
I think this is a great way to think of art in a different way, not just going through a gallery and looking at things on the wall, but bringing it to life in a different way. So it's very nice to see that it's coming back again this year.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Okay, those are all the comments from council. So just on behalf of all of us, thank you again to you and your team. We look forward to celebrating the 70th anniversary year, and at an appropriate time, also acknowledging you and the board for that achievement later this year. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, before we move into delegations, I'd like to remind all delegations that the city values and encourages participation and dialogue in a democratic process that occurs in council and committee meetings and through written submissions and correspondence. It's important that these interactions remain respectful towards other members of the public, staff, and council. In cases where dialogue is not respectful or a delegate interrupts the mayor, councillor, staff, or other delegations, makes derogatory statements about the mayor, councillor, staff, or others that are disrespectful, or uses hate speech or language that is considered harmful or defamatory, the chair may interject and take necessary actions to maintain a respectful and inclusive environment for everyone, which could involve removal from the meeting. One last reminder, delegations are permitted to address council for a maximum of 5 minutes, which will be displayed on the screens in front of you. When there's 30 seconds remaining in your time, you will hear a small audio tone that will signal 30 seconds remaining. Please take that time to conclude your presentation, as there will be a second tone at the completion of your time, and the microphones will turn off shortly after the exceeded 5-minute mark. Lastly, please do not take offense if following your presentation there are no questions from council. This is council's time to really listen and reflect upon the opinions and ideas shared with us from our community members. We'll now move into item 6.1 pertaining to 808 to 836 Cortland Avenue East and the official plan amendment and zone change amendment applications. For that item, we have written submissions from CN Railway, Grant Lehman, and Christina Lehman, and I believe there are 2 delegations here. Kevin Muir from the Zara Group, who is here to respond to questions of council if required, and we also have Mr. Muir, are you answering? Like, do you want to not come down then? No, you're not. You don't need to. There's none yet. So we'll hear from the other delegation maybe, and then if there's questions, we'll come back to you. We have Ms. Lisa Warboys, who's joining us virtually. Welcome, Ms. Warboys.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much.
It is Worboys, just in case anyone wants to know the last name spelling.
Thank you for that, Claire, for that correction, and staff will note it in the minutes. I'm not sure we can change the screen still. If they can, they will. Thank you.
All right, so I live at 71 Vanier Drive, which is behind the proposed 3 high-rise buildings. 71 Vanier Drive and 59 Vanier Drive are 3-story condo buildings. They're not really mentioned in a lot of the literature I've read. It's more about the 2 big apartment buildings. So what I have is just a bunch of questions and concerns, and I've got kind of scrambled notes, so bear with me. There are 977 units, and it says 1,750 residents in 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms, which is about 1.7 people per unit. And I just question this because those numbers seem way off. Usually, like, if you have 2 people per unit, that's about 2,000 people. And I'm thinking that it's going to be like 3,000 people as opposed to the 1,750 residents that it's stating. I'm not sure what statistics this study was done on, but the population of KW in the last 5 years is mainly like immigrants and students and living in dwellings. They have family, friends, cousins, and there's a lot of people in single dwelling units. So I think these numbers are off for sure. I think the numbers are way higher. And that's important when it comes to the water, sewage, and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know about that study, but that study seems off for 1.7 people per unit. I don't believe that. My next door neighbor in a 3-bedroom has 8 people in there. So I just wonder what the demographic is based on and if it's an up-to-date demographic of the population here in KW and who's moving here and living here. So regarding the zoning, it's currently commercial and general industrial employment. It wasn't residential, and it seems like quite a jump to go to 3 high-rises. I don't know why it's not a high-rise zoning, but it's a strategic growth area, high-density mixed use, which seems to give a lot of exemptions and almost they seem like loopholes. And the proposal doesn't need certain requirements if it's a strategic growth area, high-density mixed use instead of high-rises, which they are. For example, high-rise zoning, if it were a high-rise zoning for this place, there would be required 1,091 spaces, parking spaces, and they're only putting in 509. And part of those are mandatory for commercial and visitor parking, and not even the residents. So I think that's really concerning. Just because you give every unit a bicycle pad doesn't mean that they're going to drive their bicycles. The parking in this area of Vanier, in my building, we have 1 spot per unit. So we're parking on Walton, we're parking down Vanier, we're parking on a road off of Walton. And I just feel like those high rises are the parking that they're not offering is just going to congest more of this area. And I don't think that that's great or been looked at or even considered. The traffic is also another issue right now. Coming from Fairway, driving down to the expressway, people are trying to turn right into Walton and it's backed up. Then they're trying to drive into the businesses that are at where the proposal is, and it's backed up, and then the expressway turning right and it's backed up, and then the other way around, coming from the expressway heading up towards Fairway, people are turning left into those businesses, which is also where that proposal would be, and it backs up, and then people are turning left on Walton and it backed up. So that's concerning. And then during rush hour on Walton, people trying to get out going left, you can't go left off of Walton. The school buses trying to turn left and right. People just often turn right and kind of go the long way around. But rush hour coming off of Walton, turning left and right is really a big concern. I don't know why it wasn't mentioned in the traffic studies of a problem, but if you come down here during rush hour, you can see it's a problem. Getting on the expressway here, going towards the Fairway cutoff, is also congested. Is congested multiple times a day. People trying to get on the expressway, get off there on Fairway. It's a concern.
Ms. Forboys, you're past your time and just wrap up?
Oh my gosh, am I really? I still have half of my notes with the zoning and the studies. That's too bad.
Okay. Thank you. Gave me almost a minute extra in your time.
Oh, thank you. I did. Thank you so much. Sorry.
No problem. I don't see any questions from council, but I do appreciate you coming in this evening, and council will now consider the issue before them.
Can I just ask one little question? Since I didn't finish, am I still able to submit kind of what I had to say to you? I mean, it sounds like that was an option before and I didn't do it. Is it too late to do that?
Yes, please, if you can send it now to our clerk at the address I gave earlier, which is delegation@kitchener.ca, and our clerk will make sure it forms part of the public record.
Okay, I'm going to have to type those up. So can I do that tomorrow? It might take me a bit of time.
I'm just looking at the. Okay, that's fine. The clerk has said if you can get that to her tomorrow, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Warboys. Okay, council opportunities. No problem. Okay, does council have any questions for staff? Councillor Deneau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And so this, the delegates, Ms. Warboys, she brought up a continuing issue that I've heard it through correspondence, and that myself I know is a big issue, and that's the exit and entrance of the proposed development. While I understand the TIS, that was submitted indicates that there is not an issue, but I don't think TIS is looking at actually like the flow and backing up of traffic. Currently, maybe they do, and projecting what's going to happen in the future. The delegate is correct that turning left off of Walton onto Cortland, at most times, unless it's in the middle of the night, I'm frustrated when people want to turn left and I'm trying to turn right to get to the expressway. It's backed up significantly, and so I'm just curious how. I know these are more of plans in the future, but I hate to. I think I gave my comments last week. I believe it's a very good spot for development. My only concern is the in and out of the traffic at that specific spot. And so how can we address those or mitigate some of those issues at some point in time before occupants start to move in a few years down the road?
Mr. Stevenson.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So through the detailed design at the site planning stages, city staff will engage with our regional transportation colleagues who oversee access permits for Cortland, as this is a regional road. We did hear concerns similar to the delegate, Ms. Warboys, this evening, and it is something that we'll take technical design to ensure that that pedestrians, that active transportation users, and vehicle users will be able to enter the site and leave the site in a safe manner. That is. There's an additional layer with the Ministry of Transportation, given the access ramp that's immediately adjacent, but it is a technical design solution that we're confident we'll achieve at the site plan stage once the final decision is known, or the final design is known.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions of staff? Okay, there being none, Councillor Chapman.
Yeah, this came to us last week. It's come to us again, and there were questions about the water supply. So I wonder if you could speak to that.
Mr. Stevenson?
Thank you. Through the mayor to Councillor Chapman. The staff would be are recommending this evening that a holding provision be applied for this for these lands. The holding provision would prevent any new construction, would only allow the existing buildings and existing uses until such time as that holding provision is removed by bylaw. The holding provision as proposed by staff would be satisfied one of two ways: that a water analysis study is completed by a qualified expert and confirmed and approved by the Region of Waterloo, or secondly, that the Region of Waterloo completes their water master planning exercises and implements the infrastructure needed to support that. So a decision today with a holding provision does allow for that safeguard to ensure that we are able to confirm accurate water capacity for this development before any construction or approvals could occur.
Okay, Councillor Deneau?
So can I move it, Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
time?
you can move that, but as
With the
like-
holding provision.
yes, so maybe we can ask staff to post the motion with the holding provision, and so that change is noted in yellow. So it is moved by yourself and Councillor Chap. Oh, Councillor Chap, do you want to second it as the vice chair? Councillor Davey, you have a question.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to confirm, actually, I think this question.
Oh, sorry, hang on. I was trying to turn off Councillor Deneau. Can you click in again? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, sorry, I didn't think this question before. I just wanted to clarify on the holding provision then. So the actual removal, as it's written here, is delegated to staff. So it would not come back to council, correct?
Mr. Stevenson.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. The lifting of holding provisions are delegated to staff. Within the staff delegation bylaw, there is an opportunity for staff to bring that back to council. In light of the attention to this matter, I think that's something that we would continue to keep council apprised of so that you would be aware should we proceed. So there is an opportunity to have this considered by council, and when we're at that position, we'll inform council.
Okay, and I guess my only question is maybe it's a Robert's Rules type of question as well. But supposing council did want to bring it back or wanted to change it, that wouldn't require a reconsideration, would it? Or are you aware? If we wanted to, for whatever reason, remove the holding provision, and a member of council wanted to bring it back to remove it, for any reason, maybe other than those that was delegated to staff, would that require a reconsideration by council to remove?
Through the mayor's, so lifting a holding provision is it's the process outlined under Section 34 of the Planning Act. So that would be considered a zoning bylaw amendment. There are a couple avenues how that can be considered. One, the applicant could request a zoning bylaw amendment to lift a holding provision, in which case that application would be considered. Staff could be directed by council by resolution to bring forward an amending bylaw for council consideration for lifting that holding provision. And then the third avenue is that it is possible that in future that we may undertake a city-initiated amendment to the zoning bylaw as more is known about the water capacity issue. So there's three different avenues in which this could be amended.
Okay, that gives me some comfort. Thank you.
Councillor Chapman.
Yeah, so just to confirm, the way it's the holding provision is drafted right now, it's the region who would be able to remove the holding provision. Is that correct? Or it could be removed once the region signs off on the water supply concerns that we have right now.
Through the mayor, it's the latter. The authority to amend the zoning bylaw rests with Kitchener City Council. The wording of the holding provision requires that the region would be supportive and sign off on that. So we would typically receive written confirmation. The region is satisfied that the holding provision can be lifted. We would then include that correspondence in the council package for your consideration.
Okay, and that's with both the either or
That is correct.
clauses. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it has been moved and seconded. There is no further discussion. I will I will just thank staff for the work that they've done in this short period of time. I know that there's been a lot of work that's had to be done by our staff in the last week as they've considered the information that was made available by the region last Tuesday, and to look and understand what it means in terms of the region's handling of the situation that they shared with us prior to the holidays, but also what it means in terms of our statutory responsibility to handle planning applications and come up with a mechanism in order to deal with that. So it has been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay, we'll now move on to item 6.2, and it's the zoning bylaw application for 7 Wimbledon Crescent. There's one delegation, Mr. David Galbraith. Sir, there's no clapping. Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Mr. Galbraith, welcome.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is really just to add some additional information from last week. There were a couple of questions that came up, obviously the servicing issue and the water issue from the region, as well as building height. There was some discussion about potentially applying a site-specific regulation to limit height on the site. So we took that back this week with the architecture team. We confirmed that the height of the building differs between the Res 2 zone, which only applies to single detached, and Res 4. So for Res 2 zone, which applies to single detached dwellings, height is measured at basically that halfway point along the slope of the roof. Whereas with Res 4 and semi-detached dwellings, it's measured to the top of the pitch in this case. So we've confirmed that dimension, and it's actually at 9.8 meters of building height here. So based on that, it would be our preference to avoid a site-specific regulation in this case, just to account for the height of the building.
Okay, thank you. I do see a question now. Councillor David.
Yes, sir. I'm going to follow up with staff. So you're saying there's a difference between you're punished by extra pitch, I guess is essentially what you're saying, and that's at 9.8 meters then.
That's correct.
I'm going to confirm that with staff, but assuming that the staff does confirm that, then I believe the height maximum is 11 meters. So would you be okay then if I recap it at 10 meters? You're going to say no.
Yeah, through the mayor, it would be our preference to avoid that, to allow for some flexibility, but that decision does lie with you.
Okay. Yeah. I respect it. If I were in your position, I'd want as much freedom as possible. I am going to go ahead and move those. Thanks.
Those are all the questions that we have. Thank you for coming in, Mr. Galbraith.
Thank you.
Okay, so I will turn back to Councillor Davey, please.
Yeah, a couple questions. Just wanted to close the loop with the constituents that reached out in the petition. There's still some concern with flooding, so I was just hoping I promised to ask these questions in the public session. Could staff just briefly explain what the process that goes through to ensure that runoff on the property is contained within the property, and how that may compare to other properties in the neighborhood?
Mr. Stevenson.
So through the mayor, new construction is required to meet our current standards, and under our building bylaw, we do require a grading plan. The grading plan would require positive drainage away from the building and also positive drainage away from the property into the municipal sewer system in this location. There may be a design that would require either grading or swales to ensure that stormwater that is falling on the property would be directed off of the property. The current condition is largely uncontrolled due to the nature and timing of the buildings that were constructed. So certainly there may be grade changes over time. Our stormwater management criteria does have a higher standard now, and new construction would have to be built to our new standards.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so in theory, all else being equal, there's a likelihood that the runoff will be better contained with the new development than the current.
Yes, due to the current standards.
Perfect, thank you. I also wanted to confirm, I understand the staff did reach out to the school board with concerns, and the school board is aware of it, and they had the information, they decided that it's not worth changing anything. I just wanted to confirm that.
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And the last thing to talk about is the height cap. So just confirming, again, I'm not a planner, the delegate's correct in that there is that sort of punishment in the change between zoning that puts them up to, I guess, 9.8 meters versus, I think it was 8.5 or something like that on the report.
Yes, through the mayor. So they did provide a plan showing that, and the explanation does match the drawing that was provided, showing a height of 9.8 meters.
Okay. And I did actually ask Mr. Whitman, I believe, if he could provide some wording for height cap at 9 meters. Obviously, I would revise that now to 10 meters. Does staff have that handy? Because I would make that amendment.
Yes, through the mayor, we can certainly make that available. We are recommending or proposing to implement your direction, Councillor, would be to add site-specific provision 44.3. Again, similar to the last application, our recommendation here is to propose a holding provision as it relates to water capacity for anything more than 2 units. Council may recall they heard from the applicant last week that there was an existing duplex that was destroyed by fire, 2 units existing. We're confident that this holding provision would allow for a new semi-detached, 2 units total, and then the additional dwelling units would only be permitted until such time as the holding provision was lifted. Same tests as the previous application, and it would require regional approval.
Perfect. You're one step ahead of me. That was next on the list, but thank you so much. So I would move that amendment, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I can request the clerk to put sorry, you're moving the amendment to the original motion? Actually, the motion's been moved by Councillor Chap. No, okay. Okay, I thought I said, okay, that's fine. So you're moving it, Councillor Chapman's seconding it. And the amendments reflected in there? Yep, okay, great. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried unanimously as well. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming in to all three of you this evening. We'll now move on to reports of the committees. Councillor Davey, if I can ask you to bring the audit committee forward, please.
Thank you. It's been moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Ayades that the item from the audit committee be approved.
Okay. And that's the two items. Yeah, the report of the audit committee and the plan. Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Councillor Chapman, if you care to bring the Heritage Kitchener report forward, please.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Michaud that the report of Heritage Kitchener dated January 6, 2026 be approved.
Okay. Any discussion? Councillor Davey.
Yeah, thank you. I do want to ask a question with respect to the 33 Ontario Street is the parking garage that's on this list, correct? I'm not sure. I don't typically ask questions on heritage. I'm not sure whether I ask staff or if I could get some insights from members of the committee. But I guess my concern, I know the Heritage Committee's primary role is to assess a property based on its heritage value alone. I've always looked at our role, if I could preface the question, our role as looking towards the future and wider implications of designating these things. And I guess I firmly believe that we're not going to have a lot of parking garages into the mid to distant future, and also cognizant of the fact that the city owns this this particular property. And I guess I'm just questioning whether there would be cost implications or what the implications that looks like in the future of having to retain a parking garage that we may not need at some point in the future.
Mr. Stevenson, are you going to handle that?
Yes, through the mayor. So in development of the recommendation, this property was listed due to its its architectural element, the use of concrete in its design. It is listed on our inventory, and that's part of our Bill 23 review period that we are undertaking for all designated properties. We did consult with facilities management as well as the director of transportation, and they are supportive of the designation. The wording of the designation does allow for regular routine maintenance with an exposed concrete building. You do have to be able to do that, and we've intend to word the designation to allow for that without a heritage permit application at every time. Although there is no cost to heritage permit application, that could be a process that we may not need to require for all approvals. The designating of a city-owned building is showing our leadership as in our commitment as we look to designate other buildings around the city, and it's showing that we are willing to designate our heritage as well. In the heritage designation doesn't necessarily mean retention forever. It just means that with a designation, there's an expectation of it being preserved, but there are instances where if a building has outlived its natural life or if there are other decisions of council, a designation is reversible, but it would be a decision of council. So we see there being a need for parking in the downtown for some time, and this would be able to support that, and we could show leadership with the designation.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Inez.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Vrbanovic, and thanks, Garrett, for that explanation. I'm going to hold you to those words sometime in the near future with regards to some other issue. But, Mr. Mayor, I'm prepared to remove this property out of the list.
Sorry. So I'll deal with it separately because actually it's a motion that's opposite of the motion that's on the floor and been moved and seconded. So if the motion fails, then we can consider your motion to not approve it. So, well, actually, if the motion fails, that in effect will do what you're asking for. So we'll deal with it separately.
Okay.
So I'll deal with everything except that property. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. And now I'll deal with the garage. But before I do, I'll just say I will support the recommendation. I think the response from Mr. Stevenson has been was to Councillor Davies' question was very helpful. Fundamentally, we have to find a balance between demonstrating leadership, but also recognizing that yes, cities change, and as cities change, from time to time, things need to be looked at and revisited. Councillor Ioannidis, you wanted to make a comment? Go ahead.
Yes, please. Thank you. I think the complete opposite of what you're suggesting, because it's in the city's hands, it's more secure than ever. Just putting an extra title, an extra layer of bureaucracy, in my opinion, for the near future is not gonna change anything with regards to our responsibilities or anything with that. In fact, I don't feel like it's something that we should be progressing something on a parking garage as heritage. I feel it limits our scope in the future as well if we want to use for different purposes. So, I mean, I think it's way too early to designate this property. But again, I'm very confident that in the near future, this parking garage is very safe. So I just don't see the rationale of other than portraying that it's a form of leadership, which I feel like we've done a million other properties in the city. So I don't see it as a knock in our pursuits for heritage. So I just feel this is the way that it makes the most sense for us to leave it as is. Because again, as you said, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, and to go and change that designation in the future is going to be difficult. Which is why I said, I'm going to hold Mr. Stevenson's words to those because I have something that's going to come up in the near
Okay,
future.
Councillor Ioannidis, in all due respect, Mr. Stevenson was asked a question. He answered that question. It was in relation to this property. His responses on from one issue to another can differ for a whole variety of reasons, and so I would ask that we remain respectful towards staff. Councillor Davey.
Yeah, I thought Mr. Stevenson's response was great. There's no question there. I guess I'm trying to weigh the practical nature of this, and I'm also trying to imagine a council, far into the future dealing with this as a designated item. And where I agree with Councillor Ioannidis is that as long as it's useful as a parking garage, the City of Kitchener is probably going to own it. The City of Kitchener is probably going to maintain it. The moment it's no longer useful as a parking garage, it's a terrible use of land. It should be dedicated to something else. At which point, I don't want to have the council of the day have to go through that process. So I'm not going to support this particular one. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Davey. I guess I'll just point out for council's consideration, council has sold parking garages in the past, and so it doesn't always necessarily remain in council ownership. Anyway, so the motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor? So in favor of designating it. Okay, those opposed? And I'm in favor. That motion carries. We will move on to 7.3. Councillor Davey, Finance and Corporate Services.
Thank you. It's been moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Ioannidis that the items for Finance and Corporate Services Committee be adopted.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded. Any comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moving on to Planning and Strategic Initiatives. Councillor Chapman, I believe you're bringing it forward.
It's been moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Stretch that the report, that item number 7.4.A from the Planning and Strategic Initiative Committee meeting dated January 5th, 2025 be approved.
Okay, any discussion? All those hey, give us, is there a second?
Yeah, I gave.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Stretch. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. I think the holiday's happening. I forgot how to chair a meeting. So we've dealt with the remainder under delegations. Any unfinished business? Any new business? Under mayoral business and updates, I think we've had, as council is aware, and as we dealt with earlier this evening, the region and our staff continue to deal with the news from the region that came just prior to Christmas with respect to the issues around the supply of water. We'll continue to deal with that in the days and weeks ahead, and staff will be updating council and the community as appropriate, and we'll also be looking at what it means in terms of our planning approvals responsibilities and reporting accordingly going forward. Questions and answers. Councillor Davey.
Yes, thank you. Just one, I gave Ms. McGoldrick a heads up I was going to ask, but a couple of weeks ago there was some significant flooding on.
No, I didn't do that. Hold on. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry. A couple of weeks ago there was some significant flooding in the ward I represent. I'm not sure if it happened. You could just yell. I'm not touching you. Flooding, yes. There was some flooding in the ward I represent. Watching your finger, Mr. Mayor. No, I'm teasing. I know it's not you. And the question, some of the residents reached out actually about storm drains, and I was concerned. They were concerned because they had seen some storm drains that were clogged, and they were wondering. And the question that was asked was, what do we do, and do we rely on any significant degree to on residents to clean or look after these storm drains? So I just want to put that question to Ms. McGoldrick.
Ms. McGoldrick.
Yes, so through the chair, Councillor Davies correct. I think we all recall the wet and wild weather over the last few weeks where we saw everything from snow to freezing conditions to freezing rain to hail. It was a really mixed bag. And we did see quite a few calls of flooding. We had over 90 service requests. So in the event of flooding, well, perhaps maybe what I'll say is staff do maintain a list of hotspots and proactively on a weekly basis check those hotspots and ensure that they are opened up to allow for drainage in the event of a major thaw or weather event. But if a resident experiences flooding or ponding on the roadway, they are welcome to call the corporate contact center. It's a 24/7 response line where a service request will be issued and staff will respond. And we have crews in the wintertime, our roads and traffic team respond, as well as our sanitary and stormwater utilities team. So using both hand shovels as well as heavy equipment if the need arises. If it is safe to do so, however, and residents feel comfortable, they can also look and they know where their catch basin is. Perhaps it's in front of their driveway where they're experiencing it. There will also, there's nothing to prevent them from removing the snow and ice around the catch basin themselves, but certainly we have a 24/7 corporate contact center line where city staff can be dispatched to assist.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I guess I would also give a shout out to the residents. I know a number of residents do look after the catch basins the same as they look after, fire hydrants, making sure they're clear in the winter as well. So I do appreciate that, Ms. McGoldrick. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davey. And, while we're giving out the shout outs, I will give a shout out to our staff. They've probably had a tougher winter so far this year in a few short weeks. More so than probably what we had all winter last year. So just want to express our thanks to everyone for the work they've been doing. Councillor O'Dooney, you're up next.
Thank you very much, Chair. Wanted to ask you, I guess put it on your hat as our regional representative, since that is the other capacity that you represent. Also, and I had a conversation with several members of my constituency, and there are concerns about no bus station or bus stop in the Rosenberg area, and wanted to get your thoughts on how can that be approached from my end, or is there something that you can help us advocate from your end in with advocating for some sort of bus stop within that the Rosenberg, the new community center, the new library, especially with more people now signing up for programs in that area, especially at the community center. That's been something I've been asked a few times. Instructors who need to take the bus there, people that want to go to the library, and all of that. So just want to get your thoughts on how that could be approached.
Certainly, we can have an offline conversation and feed that into the region's transit planning process. The region is always looking at areas that they're serving, how they can serve some areas better. What's the utilization on some routes? In some cases, sometimes a route actually gets removed or has a lesser level of service, based on usage and so on. But certainly we can identify the areas you're talking about and feed that information to regional staff for consideration.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. While we're on that, Ms. McGoldrick, somebody just raised with me recently that those roads apparently are still unassumed roads. And it seems to be a little out of the ordinary from like the normal cycle for an area that's as developed and has city facilities on it. And as a result, it hasn't necessarily been from the developer, I guess, who's maintaining them or their contractor necessarily getting the same level of attention as city streets. Can you maybe provide any insight on that, Ms. McGoldrick?
Yes, Member Vanovich. we are aware that there were late assumptions in the year after the of roads in that section, where the city assumed those roads after all of the plow routes were prepared, and so there has been a gap in service that has since been rectified. So we appreciate the feedback shared by the residents in the area and Councillor Owodunio as well, in bringing those concerns to our attention. But since then, all of the routing has been updated and service is being provided.
So they have been assumed by us now, and I guess the signage taken down.
Perhaps we can talk offline specifically about the streets in question, and I can take that back to the team. But we do know that there were sections of roads that had been assumed late in the year.
Okay, yeah, maybe you can. I'll get that because it came up at Max, and the resident who raised it is actually a Stanley Park resident, so doesn't even live out in that area, but goes to the community center for recreational activities. Thank you, Mark. Councillor Johnson, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, Councillor Davey, for asking your question about the catch basins and stormwater. What am I trying to say there? Grates. Thank you, and thank you for asking that for a friend. We might know who that friend is. So thank you very much. My question was to Ms. McGoldrick as well. You're busy tonight, but is there a? I understand that there's a map of the different storm grates. Can you do you remember what the website is or how people can find that whenever they're looking for them on their streets?
Mr. Calder.
So through the chair, not offhand, but I can certainly look for that link and provide that. We have open data in terms of the city's infrastructure. And so I can certainly provide that to you following the meeting.
Yeah, thank you. My other question is to you as well, and that is that there's been stories in the media about a salt shortage this year, and I have had residents bring up as well again about the use of salt in the city. So, and their concerns about what that means to our rivers and lakes, etc. And what are we doing around that with the salt shortage, and what else can people be doing instead of using salt?
Ms. McGoldrick.
So through the chair, in terms of the salt shortage, I can share that we've been working very closely with our supplier to receive deliveries in time for maintenance activities, and we do maintain all roads to the provincial standards. We have also have a long history, given that we are a community serviced on groundwater and from a source water protection perspective, of applying salt in a way that conserves and protects our groundwater supplies. And so what we do is we have regular training programs around Smart About Salt application. We have sophisticated machinery to look at application rates and different application rates for different types of roads and geometrics associated with roads, for example, slopes, etc. Given the supply issues that are being felt province-wide, we have switched from salt to granular materials on our residential roads, our back roads, and we have also been piloting blue salt, calcium or magnesium chloride, and which is a lower impact alternative, and we do that in our downtown and in other areas where that are more sensitive.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And is that something that we can put information out maybe on our website and about that and what residents can do too? That would be helpful because people do ask about that.
Ms. McGoldrick, and then I see Mr. Chapman also wants to add something.
Yes, through the mayor, I can certainly take that away in terms of looking to see what we can put on our website.
Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, in response to your earlier question about where to find the mapping for catch basins, if a resident searches for Open Data Kitchener, it will take you to the city website, and there's a link to our GeoHub. And one of the maps that they can find there is entitled Storm Catch Basins, and it will show, search by address or zoom in on the map, it will show the locations of, I believe, how many was it there? Well, tens of thousands of catch basins across the city.
Yeah, thank you. That is helpful, and it was great to see people last week. Going out with their ice, ice pickers, I guess,
Pickers,
or
choppers.
whatever. Yeah, choppers, and going out to help that. So that was great to see. But if it was more evident for people to know where they are, because once they, once the roads have been cleared a few times, they really do get covered up. Thank you.
Councillor O'Dooney.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry for chiming back in, but just been hearing about this new City of Kitchener website, and I was wondering if anyone from staff could just enlighten listeners and viewers of some of the new implementations on that platform.
Well,
Just
that's-
out of curiosity.
That sounds like a perfect job for Ms. Roth.
Thanks, through the chair. Thank you, Councillor Ayoduni, for the question. We did recently update our website. The vendor that we work with released a new content management system, and so we reorganized the content on our website, and we also at the same time implemented a new search tool on our homepage called that we partnered with a local tech startup, a female-founded startup called Municipal AI, and it's a very powerful user-friendly search tool that we have heard phenomenal feedback about, that really makes it easier for residents to find the information they're looking for really in one click on the website, which has been one of our longest standing issues, is people searching the mountains of information on our website for what they're looking for. So for instance, Mr. Chapman just suggested that you could go to Google and search Open Data Kitchener. If you land on our website and put Open Data in the search bar, it'll take you right to that GeoHub that Mr. Chapman was talking about, that contains all that really rich information on data catch basins and other information. So we're really pleased with the launch, and next up we're doing all of our microsites, so things like the Kitchener Utilities website, Kitchener Market, and all of our sub-sites will also be moving to this new platform.
Okay, thank you for that update. Okay, that appears to be all the questions and answers. Nothing under staff reports. We do have a couple of items coming out of administrative reports on the dangerous dog designation appeal. Councillor Deneau, do you want to move those two?
Yeah, I'll move dog designation committee from December 15th. I think it's 11.1, 11.1A.
A and B?
A and B, please, yes.
Okay, and is there a seconder for that?
Councillor O'Dooney or Councillor Johnson? Somebody.
She had her hand up first, so. Okay, Councillor Johnson. Oh, you know what? We'll do A with Johnson and B with O'Dooney. There we go. We'll do the first one. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That's one opposed. That's carried. 11 point B, seconded by Councillor O'Dooney. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. We'll now move on. You'll notice that there's a summary of bid solicitations for council's information. Sorry, sir. We don't take questions. We'll talk to you afterwards, okay? Yeah, after the meeting, happy to answer any questions. You would have had to have registered as a delegation earlier. Well, hold on. Okay, so you want to be a delegation? You signed up as a delegation? The clerk is saying you didn't. So how about the clerk comes and talks to you, and we can set you up for next time. Okay? Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move to the bylaws. Ms. Fusco.
So through the chair, there are 3 items under the late starter bylaws to add arising from planning committee. They are the planning bylaws, and they are all of them are as amended.
Okay, thank you. Does someone care to move the bylaws? Moved by Councillor Johnson, second by Councillor O'Dooney. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Motion to adjourn, moved by Councillor Michel, seconded by Councillor Chapman. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.